we were shattered, and some people will say God can put things back together that have been shattered, and that was not our experience. We felt like God cleaned the slate. It wasn't piecing all those broken pieces back together. It was something that only God can do, and that is create something new. At 16, I just feel this incredibly clear call to ministry. I went off to Bible college, and I meet my wife, Shannon, while I'm there, and a week after I graduate, we get married. 27, I got the call that I'd been hoping for, that I'd been wanting, and it was a chance to take over as the senior pastor of a church in Omaha, Nebraska. And for the first few years of that, it is just Camelot. I mean, it's idyllic. The church began to grow. There was an incredible amount of momentum, and there was just an excitement around the church. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I was called to do, and I'm doing it. So it's Labor Day 2009, and I went out to grab some coffee that morning, just like I always did on my day off. But before I can even get there, I get a text from Shannon, and it says, "Come home, we're leaving." My heart starts pounding, and I'm hoping that it's not what I think it is. And I'm driving home, and when I get home, it's exactly what I feared most. As soon as I saw her face and her tears and the boys getting in the van crying and asking Mommy what's going on, that she knew 2 years I've been having an affair. 2 years lying to her, 2 years betraying her, and the gig is up. She took those boys and she took off down the street, and I walked in our house and I sat down on the couch, and the only question that I could think of was, what have I done? And I met with the elders that night and said, I'm done. I mean, obviously I'm done. There's no getting around this. I stood up in front of both of those Sunday morning services, and I resigned immediately. My entire life was just rubble. It all came down. It was just like a bomb went off. And here we are trying to sell stuff, put our house on the market, and get out of town as quickly as we can, because we run into all these people that we know, and we're both embarrassed beyond belief, humiliated. I've ruined everything, and there's no getting it back. You don't come back from this. So all I can try and do now is figure out what would just a life that isn't awful look like. She agreed to at least give it a try and see if God can do something to begin to restore us. We go immediately to some counseling, some crisis counseling. We are taking the right steps, but they are incredibly painful. Monumental effort to take an inch of ground in our relationship. And for months and months, it was just tears every day. I'm at one of my lowest points, and I'm on a plane. So I'm sitting in that seat going, God, if this plane goes down, it's fine with me. Probably be better for my family anyway. And it was hopeless. I couldn't see a way out. Before I left on that trip, I wrote my wife a really long letter. I said, I know that I'm not the man that I'm supposed to be. I know that you and our boys deserve better than that, and I don't know what to do, but I'm going on this trip, and and I'm going to meet with God. I'm going to pound on the doors of heaven until they open, and I won't return unless I can return with some kind of hope. We made the summit, and I remember standing up there by myself and just saying, God, if you don't rescue me, then kill me now. I can't fix this. And I felt like God said this to me. He said, no one's listening to you. No one wants your opinion. No one wants to hear you preach or teach. It's just you and me. It's just you and me. That's it. And then there was this question, is that enough? When I wrestled with that question and I realized that I could say with 100% confidence, you are enough. If that's all I have, if Shannon leaves me and I don't see my boys and I do this job where I'm putting liners in trash cans, when I realized that that is truly as deep as I could go in me, the answer was yes. That was everything. And I start getting this sense of, this is gonna be okay. I went back and we began to walk it out. And God showed up, man. He started changing our hearts toward one another. After a few months, I could see accelerated change in my heart. It was obvious to us and to the people around us. Something has given way. It took years, but now we have a completely different relationship. He created something new. I never expected to have the rich relationship that I do with my wife and my sons like I do today. When God put our hearts where they were supposed to be, that's when we really started to rebuild our marriage the way He intended. Now, more relationship with God is my priority. And it has radically changed the trajectory of my life.